just made it. But I think it is time for us to get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. You might be asking yourself, what is All About Aerodynamics? I'm glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about physics, about aerodynamics, about Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, about lift, about drag, about kinetic energy, about potential energy, about force, about elastic energy, about a whole range of topics that are built around teaching them the scientific method and using the scientific method to apply that to solving problems, not just in the classroom, but out in the world. And once I've taught them the science and once we've discussed the scientific method, all we have left to do is put those ideas into action. And how do we do that? I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student picks a Hot Wheels car that they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they learned in the class. Once they've picked their car, they analyze their car, they take pictures of their car, they weigh their car, they test the speed, they enter information into a spreadsheet, and then after they've done all of that observation, they set up a 20-foot drag strip, and we have a tournament, and they race their cars. And when they race their cars, they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And they determine whether or not, if they had another opportunity, would they pick that same car again, or would they choose a different car based on what they've observed. And we have a really good time. We get to race Hot Wheels cars, they get to learn, and it's all around, it's a good time. But before I can bring all of those Hot Wheels cars into the classroom, I have to make sure that I know which cars I'm bringing in, which cars the students are using, so I can make sure that I'm bringing them back for other students to use. And the only way to keep track of them is I have to take each car, enter it into a spreadsheet, document the name of the car, the year it was manufactured, take a picture, take a video, and that way I can keep track of the cars. I have them in cases, they're all numbered, so if car number 342 is missing, I know which car that is and which student was using it and where to go and to get it back, keep track of it. But like most Hot Wheels enthusiasts, most Hot Wheels collectors, I end up buying more Hot Wheels cars than put it like this, I have different uses for the Hot Wheels cars, but the Hot Wheels enthusiast, you can't help it. If you go into a store and they have Hot Wheels cars, you're going to go down that aisle, you're going to take a look, you're going to see if you see anything new. Some people are looking for treasure hunt, super treasure hunt cars. I'm not so much interested in those. I just want something that is interesting to me and something that I think the students might find interesting as well. So I end up buying a lot of cars, but until I enter them into the spreadsheet, I can't use them with All About Aerodynamics. So I have hundreds of cars in storage, in bins, just waiting to be cracked open, cataloged, and then entered into the system. And the way I used to do that was I would just get a bunch of cars, sit down, put something on TV, crack them open, and just, do all of the things. Take the picture, take the video, put the information in the spreadsheet. That was a little boring. So I tried to figure out how to turn something I have to do into something that's interesting to do. And that is how I came up with At the Track Live. So with At the Track Live, each week I pick about 6 Hot Wheels cars out of storage, crack those open, we'll take a look at them, do a review, I get to take my picture, shoot the video, enter the information into the spreadsheet, do that for all 6 cars. But after I've done that, then I take those 6 cars, take them to the track, and we have a mini tournament. And that mini tournament determines which of those 6 cars is the champion for the day. But wait, there's more. At the Track Live there's a reason why it's live. It's live because you have the opportunity to participate. And how do you do that? Well, if you go to atthetrack.live and you scroll down past the first 2 options, the first 2 options are the Twitch stream and the YouTube stream. You don't need those because you're already here. The third option says choose a car. If you click that option, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will have the opportunity to see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At the Track Live fleet. And you can scroll down, and this is what you're going to see. All of the cars that are in the fleet. This is all of the fruits of my labor and the meticulousness of documenting and cataloging each one of these cars. And we are currently up to 632 cars in the fleet. I had a busy week, and I didn't enter in the last 6 cars that we looked at last week. But other than that, all of these cars are here, ready to be chosen, ready to be selected. What do I mean, ready to be chosen, ready to be selected? Well, you can go to this page, you can scroll through, find a car, and if you find a car that you think is faster than one of the 6 cars that I've cracked open, all you have to do is find that car. You can click on it. Let's say you think it's this Boulevard Bruiser, this one. You can click on it. You can get a close look at the car. I like this. This is a nice looking car. I see why I picked it up. And if you think that the Boulevard Bruiser is going to be faster than whichever car I have selected, or one of the 6 cars, then all you have to do is take the number of the car, in this case 425, and you take that 425, you drop it into the chat, and then I will pull that car, and we will take it to the track, and we will see if you are correct. If your pick is faster than one of the 6 cars, or if one of the 6 cars is faster than your car. And there are so many different types of cars to choose from. There are fantasy cars, there are hypercars, there are cars based on real cars. I mean, just in this screenshot alone, we've got a 98 Honda Prelude, a 2016 Ford GT Race Edition. We've got this Little Mermaid Ariel car. So there are fantasy cars, there are cars based on reality, there are just wild, extreme cars. For example, the X-Steam. Let's take a look at this one. It's a little hard to see on that background, but there you go, the X-Steam. So if you think the X-Steam is going to be faster than one of the cars that I pop open, all you have to do is take the number, in this case 458, and you can put it to the test. This Black Panther car, this Racerverse car, is one of the cars we raced on one of the early editions of At the Track Live, and I was surprised that it made it down the track because it's just sort of a weird, the weight is distributed in a peculiar way, but if that's your pick, that's your pick. So just take the number of the car, drop it in the chat, and that is how we will proceed. And as we go through, you can see there are just a range of cards. We've got this Minecraft minecart. That was probably one of the most surprising cars that we've had on the track, and that was definitely performed in an unexpected way. And wait a minute, we have two Nissan. I just saw a Nissan Skyline right here. Okay, so we've got this 82 Nissan Skyline, and I know we just had one not too long ago, number 618. So this one's the 82 Nissan Skyline R30, and then number 618 is the Nissan Skyline RS. So I guess they're different. Okay. Oh, we had this one, the Trouble Decker, the tallest car vehicle that we've ever raced on the track, and that was a bit of a surprise. It did stay on the track. And if you want to see how any of these cars performed, you can actually just go to our YouTube channel. You may be there right now. And if you click the live tab, you can see a listing of all the episodes. And I've gone back and I've put in time codes, and I've listed the cars that are going to be featured in that episode. So you can just skip to the races if that's what you want to see, or you can see the reviews, or you can watch the whole episode. And last week, one of the people who was watching sent me a message after the fact and gave me some tips about how to enhance the time codes on the videos. So I will be definitely taking that advice into consideration. And I just got busy this week. It was one of those weeks, a lot to do, and I did not go back and adjust the time codes. So right now, the basic time codes are there. So if you whatever it is you want to see is right there. So we have that, and let's see. I have a mix of cars. I grabbed these. I don't want to say I grabbed them at the last minute, but I grabbed them at the last minute because I get up and Saturdays I'm, excited about the races and the cars and all of that. And I have plenty of time. I have like 2.5 hours. And so first thing I do is clean the track. So I want to make sure there's no dust, debris, anything on the track. So I go through, clean the track. I look at the clock. I've got plenty of time. And then after I've cleaned the track, then I want to straighten the track. Then I have to measure it out and laser levels and all of this, because it's important that the track is straight. And during the week, it might get bumped or something might happen and it gets off a bit. So I always have to make sure that I have, that everything's lined up. So then I'm lining up the track and sending cars down and testing it out and checking the angles and all of that. And I look at the clock and, I've still got plenty of time. And then I have to adjust the cameras. Okay, so I'm adjusting the cameras and the tripods and making sure the angles are right and everything looks good. And then I look at the clock, and I still have time. And then I have to make sure all the cameras are connected to the computer and all the software and this and that. And then there might be a technical issue, and then I go and work that out and get the lighting. I have to make sure all the lights are correct and everything. And I look at the clock, and I still have a little bit of time, but time is passing. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to step it up and speed it up. And then I remember, oh, wait, I've got to get the cars. Now, because sometimes I know the cars that I want to race, and I already have them lined up days in advance. And then other times, like today, it's just a rush at the end to find the cars that I plan to race. So I grabbed the cars, brought them out, and I grabbed more cars. How many did I actually grab? 4, 7. It looks like I grabbed 9. So I've got 3 too many, and we will have to we'll have to see which cars actually make the cut and which cars are left behind. But we've got a good mix. Let me see. I'm looking for. There's a window that I moved, and I don't happen to see it. That's strange. Okay. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my spreadsheet with the cars. So yeah, we currently have 632 cars in the fleet, but again, you'll probably on that other page only see 626, only 626 to choose from, because I didn't enter the cars in, because like I said, it was just a busy week. However, one of the things that this week, all being busy, prevented me from doing was promoting our new fastest in fleet car. What is the fastest in fleet car? So we're going to have this little mini tournament. The car that comes out of the mini tournament will have the opportunity to become our fastest in fleet car. That's basically our champion car, the car that won the tournament the previous week. And so last week, we ended up with a brand new fastest in fleet car, and it is this one. It is the Draftnator. It is a drag truck, and it blew away the former fastest in fleet car, which was the Pterotractyl, and this is the new fastest in fleet car. So that's great. I'm thrilled that there's a new fastest car out there. However, being busy this week, I started to make a promotional video to celebrate the fact that we had a brand new fastest in fleet car. And what happened was I got busy and I didn't get to finish the video. It's almost done, but it's not quite done. And because it's not quite done, I didn't get a chance to post it and promote it. So usually I don't have a particular rooting interest in which car is the fastest, which car wins the tournament. I'm fine whichever way it turns out. But in this case, I actually want the Draftnator to win this week. I want it to stay the fastest in fleet champion so I can use the video, so that I can finish up the video and put it out there. Because if the Draftnator loses, then the video is kind of outdated and irrelevant, because we'll have a new fastest in fleet champion. So I really have only wanted, that I can think of, I've only wanted 2 cars to do well. One was that Cadillac hypercar from a couple of weeks ago that I still think it's one of my favorite cars that I have. It's just, it looks great, and I really wanted it to be fast on the track. But it's heavy, it's metal on plastic, and it slowed down toward the tail end of the track, and that was it. There was no coming back from that. So I wanted that car to be fast. But this one, I want to be fast for a totally different reason. Just because I already started this video, and I liked the video, but I just didn't get a chance to complete it because I was busy this week. And I would say it's about 85% done, maybe 90. But if the Draftnator loses, I can't put it out there. So I am hoping today that the Draftnator can remain our fastest in fleet car, but there's no guarantees, because we do have, of these 9 cars, 6 will be chosen, and there could be one in there that blows the Draftnator away and takes the title. So you have the opportunity to select a car. Again, all you have to do is go to atthetrack.live and select your car and put the number of that car in the chat. I'll pull that, and maybe you can pick the car that can beat the Draftnator. I hope you don't. Usually I don't mind, but I want to finish that video. So the only way that I can finish that video and put it out and it still be relevant is if the Draftnator remains our fastest in fleet car and champion. So go Team Draftnator all day today. But that doesn't mean there are not challengers out there waiting, and we are going to take a look at the 6 cars that are going to be challenging the Draftnator for fastest in fleet status. So let me see. I think we'll go with okay, so we're going to try something out. The Draftnator is, since it is a drag truck, I guess I have a thing about orange trucks, because here's another one. This is the 87 Dodge D100, and I'm checking because sometimes with these cars, if the fenders flare out, they won't fit into the launch channel on the track. So if they don't fit, and usually it's trucks, but it's typically more like the off-road type trucks, and even though this is kind of one of these rally trucks or something, I'm not sure exactly which class this would fit into, but if you remember, if you were around back in the 80s and 90s, there was a guy who used to race trucks that seemed to me, at least on the surface, similar to this, Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. And there was a video game that was not very good, and it had 4 people could play at a time. This is a console arcade game back when there were arcades and things. And there were 4 steering wheels, and 4 people would be driving these little trucks around this off-road course, and it was really hard to steer because I think the wheels spun all the way around, so there was no point at which it would stop like a real steering wheel. But anyway, Ivan the Iron Man Stewart, and this reminded me of the kind of trucks that he would drive and race. And since the Draftnator is a truck, I figured maybe it makes sense that we could find a truck that could beat it out. So let's crack this open and take a closer look. Actually, I better double check to make sure I don't already have one of these in the fleet. Let me see. This is where it's good to have the spreadsheet. 87 Dodge, 87. Do we have any cars from 1987? We have 84, 85, 86, and 88. This will be our first car from 87. Let me make sure I didn't put, there's no 1987. Because some of the cars just have the last 2 numbers in the year. Some of them have the full year in the name. And no, there are no 87 Dodge D100, so we're going to crack this open, take a look at it. Let's go. Okay, so let me just weigh this truck. 39.1 grams. That's not exactly what we're looking for. And let's take a closer look. It's a nice looking truck. Hot Wheels. So let's see as it comes around. Get this nice view. And just for comparison, the Draftnator is 32 grams. So 32.4. But we've got right here, let's get this entered into the spreadsheet. This is going to be car number 633. This is the 87 Dodge D100. And I'm also looking at, it's got the off-road tires, which I can't think of a car on the track that has one with these tires. And aside from this being a heavier truck, these tires are not likely to do it any favors. But it does have a flat back end, which I talk about all the time. The flat back end is important because it allows for more surface area to press against the launching block, and when the cars fire out, they tend to get a better push. Okay, so we've got that, and then let's get a still picture. And the reason why I shoot the video is because there is an online version of All About Aerodynamics that will, where the students obviously aren't going to be able to look at the cars in person, so they can use the video to get an idea of what the car that they could potentially select, what it looks like. And so with the photos, I want to get a nice three-quarter view. Lock in the focus, and trying to think. I think if you look at some of the earlier pictures that I took of the cars, they're taken from a steeper angle, and again, it was one of the things that I was thinking about doing today when, as I just explained, I ran out of time. So I think I like the steeper angle a little bit better because it gives, I want the students to be able to see the back ends of the car as well, and the steeper angle does allow that to happen. But for right now, this will do. I'm not going to make a major camera adjustment live while we're looking at cars. This is 2017. So that is the Dodge D100. No, I don't need anything from you, Siri. And it's also interesting because I'm noticing the truck, at least when I put it down, the stance, it's actually angling up this way, even when it's flat. It's just, it might not be detectable, like you might not be able to see it, but when I put it on the table, I can definitely see that it's angled up. So the front end is higher than the back end, and maybe that's helps in the type of off-road racing that these trucks do. So that's just an interesting thing to note. Whereas with the Draftnator, it's the opposite. It's angled down in the front. So just a little side note. All right, so we have and I said that was 2017. Good. So that was car number 633. That is the 87 Dodge D100. So let's see. I've got another truck here. It is the Custom 72 Chevy Love. Now, I do need to check because I'm thinking I have one of these already. but that is why. Let's see. Let's first go custom. Custom. There is a custom auto, a customized C3500, a custom Cadillac Fleetwood, a custom Camaro, a custom 67 Firebird, a custom Galaxy, a custom Chevy 62, but no custom 72 Chevy Love. Let's double check. No, I don't see it. Let me check under Chevy. There's a Chevy Nomad. And nope. All right. Looks like this low-riding truck will make the cut. So let's go ahead and crack this open. Take a closer look. Okay, so this car, we have, let me see how much it weighs. One of the things I'm on my list of things to do, this truck is 33.5 grams. On my list of things to do is to eventually add in a 6th camera that will show the scale. But as of right now, my area is a little cramped and crowded with cameras and lights, and there's no room for the 6th camera for the scale. So you'll just have to take my word on that. That this car weighs 33.5 grams, and this is the custom 72 Chevy Love pickup truck. And with this one, it is, well, actually, all right, so it's lined up pretty good for its photo. So I might as well take that and then switch over to the video. And let's get it moving so we can take a look at the, well, not that way. This way. I'd like them all to be moving in the same direction, and since the first car was moving counterclockwise, they all have to move counterclockwise. So here we go. Custom 72 Chevy Love. Taking a look at this. So one of the things I'm noticing right off the back that is I guess a pet peeve of mine that I don't like. I don't like when the wheels are tucked underneath the body. And I like them to be flush with the sides, and I don't recall that there's been a car that has had the wheels tucked in with this sort of narrow base that has done well. I see they got the little Chevrolet imprint and stamp on the tail. I like that. And as it comes around, we'll see if the back end is flat. Custom 72 Chevy Love. So of the 3 trucks, I don't think the Draftnator will have any trouble defeating either of these. This car, just because of the stance and the wheel, with the wheels being that narrow, this also looks a little skinnier. My prediction for this car is that it will start to kind of fishtail and bounce around the track, and we will see. Now, I'm looking at the wheels, and it looks like gold Hot Ones wheels, but since this car is it's part of this Flying Customs series, and I don't know if they actually did anything differently with the axles for this series, or if it's just the cars are customized in a particular way and just a part of this series. So we will see how this Chevy love performs, but I'm not I'm not holding out a lot of hope for it. Again, just the wheels being so narrow is just not it's not it's not conducive to doing well on the track. Not on our track. And if you haven't seen our drag track before, then it should be interesting because it's different than if you're used to watching gravity track races. Then this is definitely going to be something that is much different. And the way that the cars perform, the types of cars that do well on gravity tracks are not necessarily the types of cars that do well on our track. And you'll start to understand why once you watch those races. So, okay, so far we have two trucks ready to challenge the Draftnator's status as fastest in fleet. We have the Dodge D100. We have the Chevy 72 Chevy Love. I think it's time we get a car, an actual car in here. And so I pulled one of my favorite cars. Not necessarily this particular style, but actually no, this is different. Well, I'll get into it. This is a Camaro Z28. It's from the Mad Maniacs series. This must be from the 90s when they would add a Z, so it would be boys with a Z, or they like to throw X's in there, so Maniacs series with an X. This was, 1999. So, with this car, let me check, because number one, I'm holding this package. It feels heavy, which is not necessarily a good thing on our track. Wait, the Chevy Love, I didn't get the year. The year is 2015. Put that in the spreadsheet. Just another data point that helps me keep track of the cars. Back to this one. Let's check and see if I already have a Camaro Z28. Hopefully I do not. And I know there has to be a Camaro. So there is a Camaro Z28, and for some reason there's a hyphen. Let's go and check. It's car number 307. Let's take a look. And I'm trying to avoid having duplicates in the fleet because typically there's not really much difference. It's just a difference of paint color. What did I say it was? 307. 307. There we go. This Camaro Z28. Now, in looking at that one and versus this one is definitely a metal body and a metal base. So this is going to be heavier. That car looks like it's one of the color changers, which means that this upper part is definitely plastic, and you can see from the reflection that the base is metal. So I think that this other Camaro Z28 from the Mad Maniac series is going to get to stay. So we will crack this car open and take a closer look. Okay. Camaro Z28, metal on metal. Let's see how much this thing weighs. It's got, I'm guessing 41 grams. I haven't put it on there. My guess is 41 grams. And I am wrong. It is 43.9 grams. So almost 44 grams. This is a heavy car. Wow. Okay, let's take a closer look at this one. It's got oh, doesn't want to sit on the. All right, let's take a closer look. Let me lock in the focus again and shoot this video. It's got this the fire eater graphic on there. It's kind of interesting. But once again, the heavier cars on our track, what tends to happen, not always, but what I've observed over the course of hundreds of races, probably even thousands at this point, is that the heavier cars toward the tail end of the track, the gravity starts to take over, and that weight, they slow down much earlier than the lighter cars. And so even when these cars, the heavier cars, get a pretty good start, they tend to slow down at that back end of the track and get passed and beaten. And Camaro Z28. And that's probably what I would expect to happen with this car. We did have that was it a Murata Stalker? That Mountain Dew car. It was one of the ones that I had when I was a kid, and it had the gold hot ones. It's metal on metal, 80s car, and it did pretty well. It didn't win. It was beaten out for, the reason that I just said. It's slow. It got really good starts, and it did well. It held its position on the track, didn't bounce around a lot, but the weight you can even see it on the track, that they just start to slow down toward the tail end. And depending on which car they're facing, that's a little too much to try and overcome. So they just end up being beaten. All right, let's see. Just a good looking car. And get this picture. Focus is locked. All right. So we've got that. And let's take a look at what's the year on this. It says 1982. So I'm sure that was the original year that this particular casting was made, and then they did a release for the Mad Maniac series in 99. But we're going to go with the number that is on the bottom here, which is 1982. So I'll enter that into the spreadsheet. And the reason why I go with the number on the bottom of the car is just, again, it's just another thing that helps me track which car I am giving out to the students, or which car is in which slot in the spreadsheet. So let's see. So we have the Dodge D100, that sort of rally truck. We have the Custom 72 Chevy Love, and which is more of a customized lowrider-ish type car. And then we have this Camaro Z28, the heavy Camaro Z28, metal upon metal. So we've got those three, and we've got to get three more. So let me see. I have one of the cars I pulled was this Porsche 935, which I can't race because apparently I really like these cars. And it's funny because I don't buy these cars and I'm not intentionally going out saying, oh, I want a Porsche 935. It's just whatever catches my eye. And apparently this is another design. I mentioned last week that the Ford GT40s, I end up buying those all of the time. This is another car, the Porsche 935, that I really like. apparently, because I just had, is this one? Yeah, this one, and they're really nice. And I have a third one that's actually already in the fleet because this one had to race the other one. I believe it was red, and it was really nice. This is a really nice car. So nice. We're gonna take a look at it. Again, this is just a beautiful car. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And that is the Porsche 935 that usually if I have a duplicate car, I'll put it in the prize bin, so it's just a car in a group of prize cars that if a student answers a question or does well in the class, then they get a chance to select a car, and they get to choose from the prize cars. But this car, I can't. It didn't make it into the fleet because it lost the race to the red version, which is now in the fleet. But it's just such a good looking car that I'm gonna keep it around. It's just gonna be one of those cars that I have around on the desk to look at. The gold, the blue, I love that. And so when I was looking through the cars to figure out which cars we're gonna race today, I came across another Porsche 935, which is another good looking car. This one has the Magnus Walker Urban Outlaw graphics, but nice wheels. But I don't want to have duplicates, so this one doesn't make the cut. But I guess I've got to set it aside. So that car cannot go in. We have the option of, there's this one. Because I like to have character cars in, not because I think they would win, but because it creates a dilemma for the students. And the question is, are they going to pick with their head and what they've learned about aerodynamics and physics? Or are they going to pick with their heart if they see a car modeled after a character from a TV show or something that they like? Last week we did the Monster High Ghoul Mobile. And a few weeks before that, we did the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo. And now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here we go. Now, because there's a green screen behind me, you can't see the top of this because it's green. But once I get it over there, onto the turntable, we'll be able to take a look. But this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wagon. Let's crack it open. Okay, so this one, presuming it can fit on the track, as big as it is, it may actually have a shot, and I'll tell you why. It is, it's basically hollow. It's just this plastic shell, and there's nothing inside. The windows are all clouded, so there's probably no internal, like on most of the Hot Wheels cars, you can see inside, and they have seats and steering wheels and dashboards and things like that. But in this one, since you can't see in, it doesn't appear that there's anything else to it. So what that's going to mean is that it's going to be pretty light, and depending on, because it does have a metal base, it might be the surprise car of the day. Put it like that. All right, we got the photo. Let's get the video here of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a Half Shell. Turtle Power. So let's see. 636. This is the Party Wagon. And the other thing is, because of its height, we're going to have to use a taller. There are these acrylic covers that I have to use to keep the cars on track, because I designed a custom launcher, and it shoots the cars out with so much force that without this cover, they will fly into the air and crash, and you'll never get a race result. So it's an acrylic cover that basically helps keep the cars on the track if they start to fly into the air. I have two versions. I have a shorter version, which is useful with most cars, and then there's a taller version that I have to use with taller cars. And I'm pretty sure this one is going to require the taller version, but it's possible, since when we had that trouble decker, that really tall bus, that was able to get down the track. So one way or another, we'll be able to adjust the acrylic to keep the car on track and see how it works out. All right, we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wagon bus. Let's see how much this thing weighs. Again, it's so light. But not light enough, because it does come in at 38.4 grams, which makes it a little heavier. But it's, again, just seems to be this plastic shell on a metal base. So we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja, and they really, let's take a closer look at this. Whoa, almost knocked. It's the thing. That's why I can't put in, the other camera. I've got so many lights around here. But with this, they really didn't put any detail into it on the sides. No real effort. I mean, they did something on the top, and they have the, I guess, turtle shell and this, the spare wheel on the front, and they've got the logo. And they've got the headlights white, and then the little red indicator lights. But on the sides, just nothing. Like, they could have done something, some decals, some different colored paint, just something to give it a better, more interesting look on the sides. It's like they just gave up on the sides and the back as well. So not one of my favorite cars, but I'll be interested to see how it performs on the track, and if it can be one of those cars that causes a dilemma for the students. That's always a interesting thing to watch. Let me see. The year on this is 2020. So I will put that into the spreadsheet. And we are moving right along. We have, so far, we have 4 cars. We have the Dodge D100 rally truck. We have the Chevy 72 Chevy Love. We have the Camaro Z28. And we have the Party Wagon. So we need 2 more cars. And I've got 4 to choose from. 2, possibly 3 of which I think are already in the fleet versions of them. So, oh, wait. Here's the one. It fell off to the side. This was one that I wanted in. The Mod Speeder. This one. So let me double check to make sure I don't already have one of these, because this looks like one of those cars that Hot Wheels would be likely to make different versions of. We have a Mod Rod, but no Mod Speeder. So the Mod Speeder gets to stay. Let's crack this one open. This is going to be our 5th car. All right, we've got the mod speeder. This car is very long. I'm hoping it is not too wide to fit into the launcher, but it feels light. So let's see how much it weighs. This car may, in fact, let's see, it weighs 32 grams. And let's get it on the turntable, and let's go take a look. Actually, stop that. Get it lined up a little better. There we go. Now we'll go. So the mod speeder. And it's a really long car. It is a fantasy car, which you can tell because when Hot Wheels, when they create some of these fantasy cars, they just throw on like every bell and whistle, body kit, spoilers, everything that they can think of, they throw at these cars. And this is no exception. This is car number 637. Now the back end, as it comes around, we're going to see if it's flat. And it appears that there is that little point you can see right there in the back is probably going to be the only part that touches the launching block. And that's not a good thing. You want more surface area touching the launching block, but we have seen, like with the Pterotractyl, it had more of a rounded back end, and it did well. It did very well. It was our fastest in fleet car for 2 weeks. So let's get the still picture here of the mod speeder. And switch over to photo. That. And let's see, let's turn it like that. This is just a very long car. And I'm just laughing at the body kit they threw on this thing. And then it's got the blower situation up top, but they've kind of even modded that. I don't know how that will necessarily impact the aerodynamics. If that, the way it's set up, is that going to catch, is air going to be trapped in there? Is it going to help serve to slow the car down? I don't know, which is part of the excitement of taking these cars to the track. Lock in this focus. And we've got our fifth competitor. 1, 2, yeah. And we just need one more. And this is going to be a pretty simple choice because I had 3, well, there's 4 cars sitting here that I'm looking at, but I think that at least 3 of them are already in the fleet. So we are going to go with the one that I don't think is in the fleet already, but I'll have to double check, and it's this one, the Silhouette 2. So let me, well, first with the mod speeder, let me see the year on this one. The year is 2022. Get that entered in, 2022. And let me now check to make sure we don't have one of these Silhouette cars. Silhouette. We have a Silhouette, but not a Silhouette 2. So now I'm kind of curious. What does the silhouette look like? Car number 381. So let's take a look and see what car number 381 looks like. And how different is it from the Silhouette 2? Car 381. Oh, there it was. Right there. Okay, so this is the Silhouette. And this is the Silhouette 2. I'm trying to see what the differences are. Doesn't look... That's a character car, the Mr. Freeze. I don't really see... I don't think there is any difference. But I think this is the exact same car. But this is the Silhouette 2. That's the Silhouette. I can only go with what's on the package, so it turns out this one is going to get to stay. We will crack this open and see what it's all about. So this one, it says, is part of the Tectones series. Don't know what that, let's see. No, there's no information on the back to suggest anything. The year on this is 1993. So I'll put that in, but let's go ahead and take a look at it over here. The Silhouette is all prepped. And there we go. We've got the Silhouette. And it's got this wild paint scheme, which is probably going to appeal to a lot of the students. So let's go ahead and try something. I'm just checking something with the lights. Okay. All right. So now lock in this focus on the Silhouette 2. Got that. And now we just need to get our video. Going the wrong way. And lock in focus. And let's see what the Silhouette 2. If we take this view, at some point, clearly I'm going to have a Silhouette 2 versus original Silhouette car matchup. We'll have that race, but for right now, we have car number 638. It is the Silhouette 2. S-I-L-H-O-U. Make sure I spelled that correctly. S-I-L-H-O-U-E-T-T-E 2. Yep. Okay. And now this car, I didn't check the weight yet. The paint job's weird, but kind of nice in person. I don't know if it necessarily translates over the video, but I don't expect much from this car. One, because of the metal, I think it's going to be heavy, and I think the weight is going to cause a problem for it. But I think it should perform well enough. Let's see how much it weighs. 34.8 grams. So it's not as heavy as I initially thought. So, you know, maybe it can do well. It'll be interesting to find out. Let me just get the year right here. 1993. And we have our 6 cars for today. We have the Dodge D100. We have the Chevy 72 Chevy Love. We have the Camaro Z28. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wagon. We have the Mod Speeder. And then we have the Silhouette 2. A couple of metal cars, a couple of trucks, a party wagon, and the Mod Speeder. So we have a good mix, and then whichever of those cars wins the tournament will face the Draftnator for fastest in fleet honors. But if you have not watched an episode of At the Track Live, if you've not seen our track and our races, let me explain to you what you are about to see. This is the view that you will see from the track, and it is a 3-camera view, and what you will see is on the far left, that's our start line camera. The cars will start from the launcher at the top of the screen. I'll give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I will hit the switch. The cars will fire out of the launcher, and they will come flying down towards the bottom of the screen. After they pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, you can pick them up at the top of the screen in the middle. That is the middle section of our track. The cars will come flying down from the top to the bottom. Once they pass out of the bottom of that camera view, they will be picked up at the top of the view on the far right, which is our finish line camera. The cars will come flying from the top all the way down, crossing the finish line, and our finish line indicator, a solid red light, indicates the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. So solid red light, winning car. Flashing red light is the losing car. All of the races are best 2 out of 3, and the cars will switch lanes after each race. And if a car crashes, we just restart the race. If a car crashes twice consecutively, that car is eliminated. And that is that. Because typically, if a car crashes more than once, there's a problem with the car and something between the way the car is launching or whatever. And it's not going to be resolved by just rerunning the races. And usually I have to take a slow motion video to actually see what the issue is. So if a car crashes twice consecutively, it's out. Now, we have had situations where a car crashes, we restart the race, then the other car crashes, then we restart the race, then the first car crashes again. But it has to be twice consecutively to get eliminated. So usually we get the races out of the way. But now we are going to see which of these 6 cars is going to be today's champion and which one is going to challenge the Draftnator. And remember, this is one of the few times when I actually have a rooting interest in which car comes out on top. I'm still Team Draftnator, but I do want to see which of these cars is going to challenge it. So I'm going to gather up these cars. I'm going to head over to the track, and I will see you over there in, where is my, oh, there it is. Wait, what happened to my cursor? That's weird. I will see you over there in about 30 seconds. Presuming, yeah, there it is. That was, just had a weird technical problem. I'm trying to get, there's another screen that I have that I use so I can actually see the races. Let's try this. Let's disconnect this. There we go. Now let's try and reconnect. So I have when I go to the track, I need to be able to actually see the view that you see to make sure that everything is where it should be, but I am it's the strangest thing. So here's the technical, sort of the behind the scenes part, is there's a screen and I move it over to an iPad so that I can actually see what's happening, but the iPad, for whatever reason, is preventing me from seeing the cursor. There we go. So I'm going to try this one more time, and then I promise you we will be heading to the track. So let's see. There is, put that right there. Turn this on. Okay, now slide this right over there. Okay, nothing like resolving technical issues live, but I've done it, and now it is finally time to head over to the track. I'll see you over there in just a minute. Okay, so now we're back over here at the track. Let me just, one thing I always want to double check is the audio, because there are always 1 2 1 2. Okay, audio's good. So we've got the good audio, we've got the track view, and we are ready to race. And let's see, we will go for the first race. Let's go with let's see, we're gonna go with these two metal cars. We're gonna go with the Camaro Z28 and the Silhouette 2, and we will see which of these big heavy metal cars is going to move on today. So let's get these lined up, and let's see, we will put the Camaro Z28 in lane number 2, and we will put the Silhouette 2 in lane number 1. Okay, both of those cars lined up pretty easily. So again, we have the Camaro Z28 in lane 2. We have the Silhouette 2 in lane 1. This is the first race of the day. Let's see what happens. Three, two, one, race. Okay, that was very close. The Silhouette 2 took the race, and that is why we have to go to the finish line camera, which indicates the winning car with the solid red light. The Silhouette 2 took it in a close race between two heavy cars. Actually, no. I think we said that the Silhouette, it looks heavy, but it was lighter than the than the Camaro. So yeah, so then really the more surprising thing with that race should be that the Camaro was able to keep it as close as it did. Not that the Silhouette won. Okay, so we'll get the Silhouette lined up in lane 2. Camaro's lined up in lane number 1. And here we go, race number 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. And again, another close race, but the Silhouette took it. That was, I like the way the Camaro performed, and against a different car, maybe it would have a better outcome, but that was pretty clear that the Silhouette is a fast car. But the question always is, how fast is the car? Is it fast because it was racing a slower car and it just looks fast, or was it actually fast? We will find out, but the Silhouette 2 is moving on. Camaro set aside. I guess we're going to go with the 2 trucks. So let's see, hopefully they both fit. That's always a question when I'm racing trucks, because they don't always fit, they don't always cooperate with the track system. So here we go, and the Dodge D100 does in fact fit. Let me just check to make sure. So it fits, but I'm going to have to use the taller acrylic cover because it is actually too tall for the standard cover. And then let me get the Chevy Love. Let me get that in. That one is lining up, and this one is much more narrow. The wheels, as I mentioned, are tucked in under the body. So that's not, it's not something I particularly am a fan of, but hey, it is what it is. So we're going to have this race. We've got the Dodge D100 in lane 1. We've got the Chevy 72 Chevy Love in lane 2. So let's see what happens. Three, two, one, race. Woo. Okay, so that was interesting because the Chevy Love was in the lead, and then it was one of those things where it was in the lead until it wasn't in the lead, but it was wobbling and bouncing back and forth, so much so that I expected it to possibly come off the track, but it stayed in the lead. But toward the end of the track, it just slowed down so much that it ultimately could not maintain its lead. It lost, and now we will switch lanes and see if the Chevy Love can straighten out and make this an actual competitive situation. Again, it had the lead, but it lost it. And let's see. But again, it's a narrower truck, and because it's narrow, it just doesn't have the it has more of an opportunity to bounce around the track, and especially if it doesn't get a really good launch. Let me get this D100, and also this D100, as I mentioned, we've had very few cars with these off-road wheels that have done well, off-road tires. Okay, so we're set up again. We've got the D100 in lane 2. We have the Chevy Love in lane 1. So let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, race. Whew. And once again, the Chevy Love, it just wobbled its way down the track, and that is not a. It's typical of these cars. Hang on, I'm just resetting something. It's typical of these cars that are narrow, and you can see right here. You can see how narrow it is, how much wiggle room it has on the track to just kind of bounce around, versus the truck. I mean, they're both trucks, versus the D100, which doesn't have much room at all. So the Chevy Love fell into the trap of the narrow cars, and that's just how it goes. So it has been eliminated. The D100 will move on and could possibly be one of the first cars with the off-road wheels and tires to do well on the track. So we will have to see. Now, next up will be the Mod Speeder versus the Party Wagon. And this is one that I don't expect to be much of a contest, but anything's possible, because the Mod Speeder, I expect that to do well. But this Party Wagon, I don't know. Pretty sure we're going to have to use the same... Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, I was just checking on the height to make sure... Wait. That it wasn't going to hit the top of the acrylic cover, because it is it's a taller vehicle. So let's see. Let me double check here. Okay. So it just clears it, so it's going to be fine. And the Mod Speeder is also, it's a wide car, and it is just making it in. It's just, if it were any wider, it would not fit. But it is in the launcher. It's ready to go. So we've got the Mod Speeder in lane 2. We've got the Party Wagon in lane 1. Let's see what happens. Three, 2, 1, race. Okay, the Mod Speeder took that race, but the Party Wagon had a very good showing for itself. I'm actually pretty surprised. So we've got the Party Wagon done, that it's done well, and I'm gonna just hang on. I got to make another technical adjustment. Just a moment. I really need to find a new solution to the second screen, the mobile second screen, because it tends to reset. And I'm using an app called Duet, which is supposed to allow you to extend or mirror the desktop onto a mobile device, in this case an iPad, and it works. I'd say it works about 60% of the time, but it's back working right now. So now we can get to race number 2, and yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wagon did surprisingly well, but I had a feeling, because it's just a plastic body sitting on a metal base, and I think it's hollow on the inside. But the aerodynamics aren't good, especially compared to the mod speeder. So we've got the mod speeder in lane 1. We've got the party wagon in lane 2. Time to see what happens. Three, two, one, race. Oh. Okay, that one was pretty much my fault. The party wagon crashed, but it crashed because it hit the tripod for the camera, and I keep forgetting that when I've got these taller cars, I do have to make some adjustments to the setup. So let's check here just to make sure it's not hitting anything. So now it's clear there. Yeah. Okay, so it'll be clear on both sides, but now it's kind of pushed out right there. It's tricky because most of the Hot Wheels cars are low enough that there's really no way they're going to collide with the tripod. So, but this is a unique case, so we will run this race again. This lined up, get this pushed back. All right, let's go again. Let me just double check, make sure the mod speeder isn't going to strike the tripod either. No, not at all. All right. So the mod speeder's good. We've got the track cleared for the party wagon. We can reset these and see what happens. Let's go. All right. Lined up once again. The party wagon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character car. Lined up there in lane 2. Mod speeder lined up in lane number 1. And these look good, and I think they're ready to go. So here we go, race number 2, mod speeder versus the party wagon. Three, two, one, race. The party wagon was moving. It was moving down that track, but the mod speeder beat it out. And I've got to presume that the aerodynamics did the party wagon in. That big flat front face, it's not going to be helpful. And part of the reason why I made sure that I had to create my own launcher is because I wanted the cars to be released with a lot of force. Because the more force that's applied, the faster the cars will move, and the faster the cars move, the more that drag becomes a factor, the more that you can observe Isaac Newton's third law of motion. And I needed the cars to move fast. Part of that is that a truck like the party wagon with a big flat front face that's not really aerodynamically sound is going to start to slow down. It's going to be impacted by the air it's pushing through more so than the sleeker car, which was in this case the mod speeder. So now let's go mod speeder versus Silhouette 2. See what we've got. And I can switch back to the standard acrylic cover and get these cars lined up. And I think this should be a pretty interesting race, because the Silhouette 2 definitely seemed seems fast, at least faster than the car it faced. So we'll put the mod speeder in lane number 2. Get that lined up. And we'll put Silhouette 2 in lane 1. And see how it goes. All right, race number 1. We've got the mod speeder in lane 2, Silhouette 2 in lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Silhouette 2 takes it, and we now have an indication that the Silhouette 2 was not just fast versus the car it was facing, it's just fast. And we are getting evidence of that with each race. And if the Silhouette 2 can take one more race from the mod speeder, it'll be one step closer to challenging for fastest in fleet status. So let's get these lanes switched, and we will put the Silhouette 2 in lane 2, and the mod speeder will go into lane number 1. Okay, and there we go. So now, let's see, we have 1. All right, so now we're gonna get ready because we have the mod speeder versus the Silhouette 2, and the Silhouette 2 just needs to take this next race and it will move on to face the D100 in the final. So let's go. Three, two, one, race. And the Silhouette 2 had no problem whatsoever. This car, I don't know what it's going to do right now against the D100. We will see, but initial impressions suggest the Silhouette 2 is on track to face the Draftnator for fastest in fleet status with that performance. So the mod speeder goes back, and we're now down to our final race between the D100 pickup truck and the Silhouette 2. So I've got to replace the acrylic cover with the larger version. Get these cars lined up. Let's see, we'll go with the D100. We'll put that in lane 2. And the Silhouette 2 will be in lane number 1. And we are ready to go. This is race 1 of the finals, the D100 versus the Silhouette 2. Three, two, one, race. I like the sound of those off-road tires on the track, but the Silhouette 2 crashed. Now, part of the reason why it may have crashed is because we're using the taller acrylic cover, and the taller acrylic cover is there to accommodate the height of the D100. And so what would typically happen with the other cover is that the launcher shoots the cars out with a lot of force, and in doing that, the cars fly up into the air. The lower acrylic cover allows the car to hit the top and then come back down on the track relatively quickly. But because we're having to use the elevated, the higher cover, the silhouette now is in a position where it is going to fly up into the air, and then it is going, it flies up higher before it hits the acrylic, and when it comes down, it bounces and crashes. We're going to see if we can, well, we'll run the race again, and if the same thing happens, then I'm going to have to try something to keep the silhouette on the track, because if it's crashing only because it has to use the modified acrylic cover, that's not exactly fair. And if we were to race both of these cars with no cover, I'm sure they would both crash. Well, I'm not sure of that, but that's my theory. All right, we're going to try this again. We've got the Silhouette 2 in lane 1. We've got the D100 in lane 2, and we'll see if the cars can stay on the track. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. I really do like the sound of that. Okay, so now the question becomes how to keep the D100 on the track while at the same time accounting for the height problem of the height of the D100, and then how to keep the Silhouette 2. They both need acrylic covers, but I don't have one that's low and one that's high. So here's what we'll try. Question. I've thought about this, making one of these, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And the thing is making an acrylic cover where one side is high and the other side is low. The only trouble with that is, well, no, I guess I could turn it around. Okay, that's I'm thinking about things in the future when I need to figure out right now practically how to solve this problem. We have a car. So the Silhouette has crashed twice, but it hasn't crashed twice because there's something wrong with the car or the launch. It's just that it needs the acrylic cover because there's so much force. And by the same token, it would appear that the D100 also needs an acrylic cover to keep it on track. Now that may not be the case, so this time we'll try and run the D100 with no cover at all. See what happens. Maybe it can make it down the track. There's some cars that can make it down the track without the assistance of a cover. The Silhouette 2 is not one of those cars, so we need to, I'm going to put the cover only over the Silhouette 2 and see if that is enough to keep it on the track, and hopefully we'll see whether or not the Dodge can stay on the track on its own. Just checking. I need to adjust. I just want to make sure everything's correct. I want to adjust the tripods so that they are not impeding these cars in any way. This side right here, that's good. I know on the camera sometimes it may look like the tripods are edging over into the track space, but in most cases they aren't. That's just a camera angle. I check that kind of thing before start the races. All right, so here we go. This is race number 1 still, and we're going to have the Silhouette in lane 1 and the Dodge D100 in lane 2. And I'm going to launch the D100 with no cover, and the Silhouette 2, I'm going to cover it up. So here we go. Let's see hope it works. Three, two, one, race. There we go. There we go. So the Dodge, it didn't need the acrylic cover to stay on the track, which is great. And the Silhouette 2 was able to beat it out. And let's just double check, make sure I don't want the Dodge bumping up against any parts of the tripod. And because of the size, I'm just double checking. Yep, it clears it. Okay, so the Silhouette 2 is now one race away from being the champion for today and facing the Draftnator in a fastest in fleet car showdown. But there's still one race to go, and we've got to switch sides and get these cars lined up once again. I'm glad that worked out, because if the Dodge hadn't been able to stay on the track, I was kind of out of solutions. But here we go. So the Dodge is now lined up in lane 1. We've got the Silhouette 2 lined up in lane number 2. And this is the second race. If the Silhouette 2 takes it, Silhouette 2 is today's champion, and we'll move on to face the Draftnator. If the Dodge takes it, we'll have a third and final race. Let's see what happens. Three, two, one, race. And just as I gave the Dodge all that credit for staying on the track and not needing the assistance of the acrylic cover, it crashes into the barrier, flies into the air, and flies far off the track. So now we are kind of in a predicament that I was hoping we were going to avoid with the Dodge being able to stay on the track. And that is, what happens if the Dodge needs a cover? So let's go here, and then we go down and grab the Silhouette, which had no problem finishing that race and finishing pretty strong, bashing into the barrier I have at the end, which is another thing that I'm going to need to address, because I don't think there's enough padding on that barrier, and the cars slam into it, and it is pretty violent when it happens. All right, we're going to see if the Dodge can stay on the track, and let me get the Silhouette lined up. Okay, we've got them lined up. Let's run this race again and hope that the Dodge can stay on the track. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, the Dodge can't stay on the track. How can I make this work? So the Dodge needs the tall acrylic cover. That's clear. And the other car. Okay, now. Okay, I've got an idea. We'll see if it works. Let's see. All right, pull this back. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the taller acrylic cover that will keep the Dodge on the track. We know that. We know that from the previous races, if it is that it is possible for the Dodge to stay on the track, but it needs the taller acrylic cover. We'll use that. We do also know that if we use the taller acrylic cover, the other car, the Silhouette, can't stay on the track because it has too much room to fly up into the air. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the taller acrylic cover on, and then I am going to slide the shorter acrylic cover underneath the taller cover so that it only covers the Silhouette. And hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, then I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Okay, so let me try this. I'm sliding the taller acrylic cover over. That's for the Dodge. Then I will slide the smaller acrylic cover underneath for the Silhouette 2, and we will see if they can make it down the track this time. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Yes, it worked. Both cars stayed on the track, and the Silhouette 2 took the race and is today's champion. And now we are going to see if it can knock off the Draftnator for the fastest in fleet title. So I am going to, let's get this set up here. And again, this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, I started making a promo video for the Draftnator as our new fastest in fleet car. And I got busy and I didn't get a chance to finish it. Because I never got to finish it, I never got to put it out. And if the Draftnator loses today and does not defend its title, I will never get to put that video out. And all my hard work will have gone for nothing. So I am really hoping that the Draftnator can win. And usually I'm kind of neutral about it, but not this time, because I want to finish that video and I want to put it out. And I don't want to have to start all over creating a new video for a new fastest in fleet champion. So here we go. Let's line these cars up. We've got the Draftnator in lane 2, the Silhouette 2 in lane 1. Let's see what happens. This is for the fastest in fleet crown. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, Draftnator, you're one step closer to letting me release the video. Draftnator takes the first race. We're going to switch lanes and see if the Draftnator can finish off today's races, remaining the fastest in fleet champion. So, here we go. Draftnator became the fastest in fleet car last week after it defeated the Pterodactyl pretty handily. And if that last race is any indication, it should be able to finish off the Silhouette 2, but you never know until the final race has taken place. So now the Silhouette 2 is in lane 2. The Draftnator's in lane 1. Let's see what happens. Fastest in fleet title on the line. 3, 2, 1, race. And the Draftnator takes it. My video will live on. So, let me gather up these cars, head back in the garage, and take a look at today's winners. And this is our fastest in fleet car. The Draftnator held on to its title, which I am very excited and happy about. And I brought in the acrylic covers just so I can explain what was happening, because it may have been a little difficult to see on the camera. Hang on, let me get this screen out of the way. So with the acrylic covers, I have two. There's this one, and there's this one. This one is the one that I use because you can see it's the same as this one. This is the standard one, but you can see on the bottom there's an extra 1/4 inch piece here, so it raises it up just a little bit. And if I were to put these sort of side by side, you can see that one is, well, I guess if I lined them up properly, you can kind of see that one is taller than the other. I don't know which, the angle, I don't think I'm doing this well, but trust me, one is tall. Maybe if I put it like this, now you can see that one is higher than the other, and it's just a little higher, but that makes a difference. And so with the problem we were having is that the Silhouette used the normal frame or the normal cover, and what happens is when the cars come out, right, with the force, they fire into the air. Sometimes there's so much force. What happens with the cover is they come out, they hit the top, and then it drives them back onto the track, and they're able to keep going. So they come out of the launcher, boom, hit the top, and keep going. Without the cover, they would just fly into the air and crash, and that's what we saw happen with the D100. The problem is that with a taller car, this cover is too low, And so what you end up with is a car that is hitting the top. So it can't use this cover. And because it can't use that cover, I have to go with the taller cover. So with the taller cover, this one, the taller cover allows for the taller cars to now have space to hit the top and keep going. That's great. And that's what we saw. But what happens is with the smaller cars, this cover is so high, even though it's just a quarter of an inch higher, it's so high that it gives the car a chance to go way up a little higher before it hits the top. And when it comes down, it tends not to land straight on the track and continue on. So that is basically the problem and the issue. And I think what I'm going to have to do is build an acrylic cover that has one side high and one side low, and then I can just reverse that if I need it. So it's something I'm going to have to work on, but for today it didn't necessarily matter because the Draftnator maintained its status as the fastest in fleet car, and fortunately for me, I can use my I can still use my video that has yet to be completed, but will be completed this week, hopefully this weekend, and you will start to see it. And where will you see it? You will see it on our Instagram channel, which is at AA Aerodynamics. If you're not following us there, then you should be. And you can find out about upcoming races. You can find out about cars that I've picked up during the week. There is a countdown for the Saturday races at the track live, and some other information. I'm also going to start doing a little bit more. It's just things were hectic this week, so I didn't really get around to posting as much as I wanted to, but things are coming, and AA Aerodynamics on Instagram, that's the best place to kind of find out and keep up with everything that's going on with At the Track Live and All About Aerodynamics, which, again, if you would like to learn more about our science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, so your students can have fun with Hot Wheels and learn some physics, you can go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can go to the Instagram account. The links to everything you need are in the bio, including links to our YouTube channel where you can watch previous episodes of At the Track Live. All you have to do is click the live tab, and then you can scroll down and you will see all of the episodes. The cars are listed, and thanks to Race Grooves, I will be adjusting the time, the chapters and the time codes and markers so that it's easier to find whatever it is that you're looking for. And it will also help with my search engine optimization, hopefully. But I will say that if you want to participate in At the Track Live, all you have to do is go to atthetrack.live, select choose a car, and you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you can go through and scroll through and find the car that you think would be faster than one of the 6 cars that I pick. Then for next week, if your car is faster than one of the 6 cars, then all you have to do is find the car, find the number, take the number, drop it in the chat. Once you do that, I will pull the car, we'll take it to the track, race the car, and if you can beat all the 6 cars, the other 6 cars that are the new cars, then you can get a shot at our fastest in fleet car, our grand champion, the Draftnator. And the Draftnator, I don't know if the Draftnator has even lost a race. Or a heat. Is the heat the thing? It hasn't lost. It's blown everybody away. And there is probably, statistically speaking, there's got to be a car Out of the 638 cars we have, there's got to be one that's faster than the Draftnator. But until we find it, the Draftnator is the fastest in fleet car. It is the champion. It is the standard. It is the high watermark. It is the top of the heap. It is the car that is going to be promoted on AA Aerodynamics on Instagram. So the Draftnator did it. It came through. It's one of the few times when I'm actually openly rooting for one car to win, and it made it happen. So now I can go and finish up my video to promote it and get it out there, and hopefully you will see it and be able to enjoy it also. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and if you would like to participate, you're more than welcome. That's the whole point of At the Track Live. So until next Saturday, I am Coach James for All About Aerodynamics and At the Track Live, and until next time, I'll see you at the races.